Hi, my name is Gianmarco. I'm from Italy. I've been supporting Sunderland since 2010. How are the lads?
Hello and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the international fans podcast for Sunderland AFC. My name is Lee Thirkell. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats, and today I'm joined by Andrey Chichagov. He's in New York, USA. Andrey, good afternoon, or is it still good morning for you?
It's still good morning for me.
Yeah,
Bright and early here, but I've
yeah,
been up.
good man. And we're also joined by German Black Cats member Ian McNee. Ian, what do you say? Is it Guten Abend yet, or is it Guten what?
No, the Guten Abend kicks in about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. It's just Guten Tag.
It's just Guten Tag. I should have known that
Yeah.
from the bloody textbooks that I use in school. Anyway, never mind. Right then, lads. So we've got another podcast. It's the second one of season two. After we did last one, well, the first one of season two last week. In that time, we have played two more pre-season friendlies. We lost to Hull City 2-1 midweek, and yesterday we fell to a goal against Real Betis at home. So, Ian, is it a bit worrying that we've lost four pre-season friendlies on the bounce, or does it not really matter because the season starts on the 16th and that's what all that matters?
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of extenuating circumstances when you look at it. I mean, first of all, we haven't been able to put out a full team. We're playing an 18-year-old midfielder at left back permanently at the moment, so it seems. And I mean, every time we actually played a left back yesterday, but he played in the middle of defence. There's all sorts of people missing. We've filled our midfield. I don't think we need another midfielder, especially now that we've got Chaka. We could maybe do with a forward. We definitely need one, possibly two defenders, especially with all the injuries that we managed to rack up throughout. I mean, this isn't just in this pre-season. It happened through last season and also the season beforehand. Look at the playoff against Luton. We didn't have the defence. We didn't have anybody above 5'9", 5'10" against Luton, for goodness sake. Land of the giants,
Yeah.
So we now I'm not particularly bothered about the results. I've talked to my mate who was at the match yesterday, and he says we played a hell of a lot better. If we'd taken our chances, we could have got something out of the game. The new goalkeeper, wasn't at fault for the goal. And it's looking more and more like he's starting to settle on what team he's going to try and turn out against West Ham United, with the emphasis on try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Andrea, I mean, I don't know what it's like in the States, but is pre-season really important? Do people look into results in sports in the USA?
It's so inconsistent. It feels like a lot of times you'll have the worst teams do so well in preseason, and then reality meets them after the first series or the beginning of the season. It really depends. And it's a mixed bag. There's no one way to cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so in terms of our format, listen, we've played Sevilla, we drew 1-1. Sevilla probably the worst of the European teams we've played, because they finished fourth bottom of La Liga last season. Still historically a good team. Sporting Lisbon 1-0. They're the champions of Portugal Champions League football this season. Hearts 3-0 was disappointing, but it was Craig Gordon's testimony. They were up for it. Hull City 2-1. Yeah, it wasn't great. And then you've got obviously Real Betis. They finished sixth in La Liga last season. They're going to be in Europa League this season. And they finished in runners-up in their Conference League, Europe Conference League. So we have played some good teams, haven't we, Andre? And we haven't been dicked, basically. We haven't been thumped. So we have held our own, which is a good sign. But obviously, winning boosts confidence, I think, doesn't it, as well?
No, of course. You definitely want the new players coming in and creating a winning culture and just continuing a lot of the drama and love that we got from the playoffs. Um, but you're doing a lot of 45-minute subs or now we're at 60 minutes or full games for some people. We don't really have a defense right now, truly. So that's going to keep hurting us until we get people in. And luckily for us, we've only now are going to be starting to get loans in, so we still have those spots. Um, Not knowing everything, who's going to be Robin's going to be our main goalie. So for him now, give him time to settle in, get in place. I think for the 16th, we might not have the best team out there, but we're going to be settled in. Give that midfield any day of the week, and I think we'll be able to push hard against anybody we need to.
Yeah. Well, Ian, Andre mentioned there Robin. He's our new goalkeeper. He's called Robin Roof. I tell you what, Ian, just as well he's Robin Roos and not Robin Banks. I'll get that in there. But yeah, it looked like.
Can I leave this podcast now?
No, you're not. Right, so no, it looked like a decent debut for me. He looked quite comfortable with his feet. He was doing a bit of flamenco dancing at times with his feet when he was playing out from the back. He looked all right, didn't he, Ian?
Well, I don't know. I didn't see any of the match yesterday. I've not even seen any headlights or anything. I don't even know why the hell I'm on here. As I say, my mate saw it, and he said you couldn't possibly blame the keeper for the goal. From what I've read of him, he seems to be very sure of himself. He can play football out from the back. His long distribution isn't all that great, apparently. As I say, I haven't seen him, so I can't say yes or no. But he comes out for crosses. He commanded his box yesterday, although he didn't have a great lot to do. I mean, the proof of the pudding is going to be when we start playing in the Premier League, because that's going to be a completely different kettle of fish to playing pre-season friendlies.
Yeah.
Well, you're part of the goalkeepers union, so you're going to be on top of him.
Yeah, well, but I haven't seen him. I've seen his highlight reel, and nobody's going to put a bollock in a highlight reel, so do me a favour. He looked great on his highlight reel. I'd look great on my highlight reel. But
You too. Me as well.
It's not like great a keeper.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there is uncertainty there surrounding the number one position because Anthony Patterson was rumoured to have a knock, but there's also rumours circulating online on social media of certain stories that we don't know if they're true or not. So hopefully things can be clarified there. So we don't know, but it looks like Robin Roof. I mean, he only signed on Friday or Thursday evening, and he was straight in there, wasn't he? So you'd expect him to be in there. Andre, the signing of Granit Xhaka was a big statement, wasn't it, from Sunderland? And what, 16th in the list of Ballon d'Or candidates of last year. It's a big coup, isn't it, for Sunderland?
Of course, we're not getting Arsenal, Granit, but we're getting a captain and a solid force for the team of somebody that wants to be here. It's not a hired gun. It's not just like you have your Saudi Arabia teams. This is somebody that believes in this pitch, that of our little project that we're growing here, and he just wants to be able to support because there's supposedly rumor he wants to continue coaching with us after. So it's somebody that's investing and is very happy to be here and knows of our history. But it'd be weird for a player to join here and go, oh, I don't know, big stadium, big people. That's always the favorite remark I hear from anybody. We're a big club because it's true, but it's just something always pushed on. This, I think, already confirmed what we knew about Dan Neil, and we could talk about that later, but it's just like you have an imposing captain that will be everywhere on the field we need him to be.
Yeah. And Ian, I mean, 20 million is rumored to have cost, but for 32-year-old and his experience, obviously won the Bundesliga, I think, was it a couple of years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah. So is that price irrelevant?
I don't. Well, if you'd asked me last season, I would have said it's a bargain. But we don't pay that. Well, we didn't used to pay that sort of money. What we've paid this year is just blowing the top of my head off. This isn't us. But then again, like I said to you at Wembley, we don't do this but apparently we do. We go and score a goal in the last minute and win the bloody playoffs. We don't pay 100 and odd million for 7 or 8 players, and we're not finished yet. I think that what the management are doing is brilliant. They call management, they've managed it wonderfully. They've run it not on a shoestring, but on a tight rein for the last 4 or 5 years, and now they've just let the horses go. And I can only hope that the signings that they've made will turn out to be as good as the signings that they've made in the past. Down to Xhaka, obviously I've seen him playing here the last 2 years at Bayer Leverkusen. Leverkusen used to be called Vizekusen, but Vita means vice, so the second place, because they never ever won anything. In 1 year, when Ballack, remember Michael Ballack that went to Chelsea? In 1 year, they managed to lose the championship, the Bundesliga championship, on the last day, 2-0 to a team that was already relegated. They lost the German Cup the next week to a third division team. And they then went and lost the Champions League all within a fortnight. And that's why they got this nickname, Vizekusen. And everybody was saying, okay, Xhaka's a good player. He's played great for Arsenal. He used to play for Gladbach, so we all know him anyway. And Gladbach, all he did was get a red card every 2 weeks. They cut him all on speed, But he came to Leverkusen and he won the championship, won the double for Leverkusen. Without Xhaka in that first year, they wouldn't have been anywhere near the top of the hill. And they went through the season unbeaten. Now that is a feat that occasionally Bayern might do. Even they haven't done it all that often. Mm-hmm. But for Bayer Leverkusen to turn up out of nothing, they were 8th the year before. But Xabi Alonso came in as the coach. He got the players in that he wanted to get. All power to Simon Rolfe, is their manager, who got them in. And it worked. And it only worked because Xhaka was standing in the middle of midfield and he was knocking balls all over the place.
So he was like the pivotal point, was he, of that team?
He was the main man. He won that. I mean, they had some great players. Florian Wirtz, who's gone to Liverpool. Jeremy Frimpong, who's gone to Liverpool. You'll see them when they get there. They had some really good, talented players who, unfortunately, now that Alonso's gone, they've gone as well. So Leverkusen are going to struggle this year. Last year, it was like sort of the day after the party. Leverkusen couldn't keep it going, but they still played well. Xhaka fell a bit deeper. You could see I'm not saying his legs have gone, but he's not as sharp as he was. But if Xhaka plays like my mate said he did yesterday, he played just in front of in front of the defence. He plays like that for all the season for us. He's got young lads alongside him who can do all the running. Brilliant. Yeah. It can't go, as far as I'm concerned, it can't go wrong. And if we stay in the Premier League, it's worth every penny of the 20 million that we paid for him.
Yeah, and Andrey, like one of the points that Xhaka made in his interview was that he was leaving Leverkusen, a top German team, played Champions League. They won the league the year before. He's always played for these top teams in the highest division. But his words were that he was excited by a different challenge. That's a nice thing to see, isn't it? Because that's what you want to see at Sunderland. You want to see people who are up for the challenge, that he knows what he's walking into. He knows that it's not going to be plain sailing and it's going to be like a top 4 finish. Exactly. We're going to have our struggles, but we're building a team that is ready to compete.
No, exactly. It's something where when I saw the rumor about us signing him in the football chat that I was in, mind you, I was the one championship fan while everybody was either Premier League, any other of the top league fans, or at MLS because it's stateside. And within a week of having that signing, it's just like something that's unbelievable. I was just happy the fact that we have this top player rumored to us to now have him join in with us. I'm not expecting this to be like this is prime Mbappe, prime any star player joining, but why not? And at least the first step is going to be staying up. What can we do? How can we do it? And for me, I'm going, okay, if we can get 16th, I'm happy. And then go to the middling tier will be great. But you have to get there. It's going to be a full season, let alone what AFCON is going to do for us with half of our team. Because we're linked to another Moroccan player right now, too, in search of defense. So I think you're going to have a stable force in that midfield because of him. And that is an amazing thing to say about our team.
Yeah, and like yesterday, I was watching the match via the Real Betis YouTube stream or YouTube channel because they had it on for the viewers in Spain,
Nice.
and even their commentators were actually like waxing lyrical about Xhaka and how he's talking to the players. He's always in the right place. He's winning balls. He's I think he played the pass over for the disallowed goal for Adingra, which is basically what we want for players like Mayenda and so. But Ian, on that midfield, then it is like very bulky, isn't it now? Because we've got obviously Xhaka, we've got Siddiqui, Diarra, Lafi, Chris Rigg is still to come in there. Dan Neil, we don't know what's going to happen with him. There are options there, but what is that midfield three going to be like for the West Ham game? I mean, yesterday Lafi was on the bench and he went with Xhaka, Siddiqui, and Diarra. What do you reckon he's going to go for?
I know more about shipwrecks, Mara. I've got no idea what he's going to turn out. Honestly, having seen anybody who's going to be playing in the midfield other than Chaka playing for another team, Lafay played excellent for us. Neil, who's probably out of the door. Chris Rigg, who's injured and young and will probably have his time managed, whereas in the past we were more or less damned to pick him because we didn't have a good alternative. Now the alternatives are there. What I've heard, Tiara is a bloody good player. The lad who got man of the match yesterday,
Who is it?
I have no idea.
Chemsine Calby. No.
Nah.
For who? For us?
There's a key in it. He played alongside Saka. Played hanging midfield.
Siddiqui.
I knew there was a key in it. See, I've got to get used to these new deals. Honestly, it'll take us to about November, and then we'll probably sign another tranche in January, and then I'll be knackered again. Apparently, he got man of the match and covered just about every inch. Now, whether this is it's my first home game, so I've got to put on a good show and impress the fans, I don't know. I don't know. Let's wait and see. I mean, everybody. Reggie LeBrie is. I mean, you can't look inside your head. Look at what we did the end of last season. 5-6 games. Everybody was panicking. We're losing games left, right, centre. We'll never get anything done in the playoffs. And I was saying, hold on a minute. Let's wait and see. He's got a master plan. He's got a cunning plan, like Baldrick, you know. And it turned out to be true. We got promoted because of LeBrie's tactics. And I'm sure that he'll pick the team needed for every game that we're playing. He won't play the same team for West Ham as whoever will play in the next week or whenever we'll play Villa, the next home game after that. He'll change the teams round. And now he's got so many people in midfield he can afford to do that.
Yep.
In the past, he was damned more or less to play the same 11 players. I think in November when we had our dip in form, he picked the same team 7 or 8 games in a row, and it showed. We struggled. That's why we dropped the point, dropped down to 4th, and we stayed in 4th for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the players that you mentioned there, Siddiqui, I think out of the signings so far, he's probably been the pick of the bunch. I mean, was it 16 million he cost? 16 million euros?
Yeah.
And the fans have been really, really impressed with him, that he gets around the pitch. People comparing him to, what's it called, Doucouré from Everton. Very good engine, good legs, gets around the pitch. So I think when we sign, for example, Xhaka and we sign Diarra and we have Lafia as well, people saying, "Oh, Sadiq is going to be the one that drops out." But at the minute, I don't think he might be one of the first names on the team sheet alongside
Well,
Xhaka because
look, yesterday, Lafay was the bloke on the bench. Neil didn't get anywhere near the pitch, whether they're being rested or I suspect, we are going to Augsburg next Saturday. And I suspect that what we'll see there are the fringe players. I think on the Sunday against Vallecano, that will be the team that's nearest to what's going to be playing against West Ham on the Saturday.
Andre, in terms
Yes.
of Dan Neil, where do you think he stands right now? Because he hasn't played many minutes, it seems, in this pre-season. Didn't get on at all yesterday. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's the captain that took us to the Premier League. He's seeing all these players coming in his position. I don't know. Is that the end for him at Sunderland?
I think it was a foregone conclusion because that's the rumors we're hearing especially in the middle of our slide. Everybody leaving, nobody was going to stay there. We were supposed to be at the bottom of the championships for this coming season. We don't know how to play soccer, and we're getting rid of Regis. Alan Brown. I don't know. I'd want to say Alan Brown's going to see the field more than him. Possibly this season, because at some point by the deadline, he'll go to some championship club. I don't know if Daniel is somebody that's ready for Premier League time. Maybe in a football manager game, I've had that happen, but that's not the reality we got to work with. Same thing for Rig. It's just like I feel as long as players are just gonna have to find a way to be that consistent sub off the bench and be okay with it. It's with the quality that we have, and clearly when the schedule starts getting November, December, January, when we're having midweek games, people are going to have to be ready to, or let alone not even September and October when we start doing other of the different cups. People are going to get some time out there to prove themselves, and we might have to choose. Well, he has a run. Roberts gets to play a bit more, or he has a run, and now Huggins is going to be out there. But the midfield seems set for the most part, unless people need a break or, God forbid, an injury.
Yeah, and Ian, in terms of Dan Neil, it's a case of that. Listen, we've got promoted, but we need quality. We need to add quality, and if you want to play, you got to step up. But I don't know. It just seems maybe it's like the younger generations of players now. They don't like the challenge, and they basically think that if they see a better player that comes in, they just want to take the easy way out, perhaps, and just say, "Okay, I'm not going to play here. I'm gonna jump ship." And for me, like nowadays as well, if a player gets a better offer or a bigger club, they'll jump ship like that because there's no loyalty anymore. So isn't it fair that it works both ways? That the club can just say, "Okay, we got promoted, thanks." But we're moving on because if we've seen that in the past few years, right? Sheffield United and Burnley, they basically kept the majority of the squad to play in the Premier League, and they came straight back down.
Yeah.
Are we basically making sure that we don't follow that trend?
Well, I think it's a slight case of reality bites. As I said, the management do manage. They seem to know what they're doing, and hopefully that will continue to be the case. As regards Dan Neil, what I've read of him, when he has got on the pitch in pre-season, he hasn't exactly tore his arse out. He's been described as lazy, full of misplaced passes, etc., etc. Sort of the general impression seems to be that he's not bothered about staying at Sunderland. Having said that, I mean, 4 years ago, if you remember, Joe Hugel used to play for the youth team. He and Dan Neil, both of their contracts ran out at the same time, and they're both holding out because they wanted to get away. They wouldn't sign a new contract. Joe Hugel got signed by Manchester United. He's now playing for Carlisle United. So let that be a warning, Bonnie lads, you know.
Well, there's a few, isn't there?
Yeah, having said that, Dan Neil did sign a new contract, but we go back to what I was saying earlier about Sean and his mates who spoke to Dan Neil at the O2 Arena last year, that Neil was only stopping because he was a captain and he would be away in this close season. And certainly I've never seen any of the pre-season football, but from what I've read, it doesn't seem to be that Neil's trying to change anybody or change his own mind in that matter. I think he's just waiting for an offer to come along, and then he'll be good. If he was happy at the club, he would have signed a new contract in the middle of last season, and I am convinced that the club would have offered him a new contract. Could well be that the club aren't keen on him, knowing what was coming. I think if we hadn't won in the playoffs, Neil would have signed a contract immediately. He would have stayed with us if we'd stayed down in the Championship. Now that we're in the Premiership, now that we've loaded our midfield, supposedly better players, and they seem to be better players than what Neil's producing at the moment, I honestly can't see Neil getting back in. Andrey mentioned Brown. I think Brown will be gone soon as well. I can't see Brown getting anywhere near the team in the Premier League.
Unless he's happy to be that squad player, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we don't know what money he's on. He's over 30 now as well, so it could well be that he's happy just to hang around just in case, you know.
Yeah.
But I think Dan Neil's gone.
Yeah, and then Andrey, I mean, is it a big slap in the face for Dan Neil that yesterday Xhaka makes his debut? He's given the captain's armband. Dan Neil just sits on the bench for 90 minutes and watches three midfielders ahead of him, and then Lafigué ahead of him. He sees Harrison Jones, a 20-year-old academy product, playing at left back. Do you think that's the writing on the wall?
I think the writing on the wall came a long time ago. I will add is it feels like we're playing a much quicker style than he's used to. And that could be a knock, not really on him, but more of just he's not fit for the system we're trying to put in place. We just had a coach leave who everybody noticed once he joined. I'm blanking on his name. He left a few days ago.
Ian knows it.
That's my favorite subject.
But it's just like somebody that changed our tactics and went away from what our bread and butter was. But he got us here. So at the end of the day, that's what matters. And maybe that's what Neil becomes, the hired gun, that he can bring a team to the Premier League, but he can't himself match up and play there on that daily basis. But I feel it's kind of unfair to throw him the aspect of Harrison Jones. Harrison Jones trying to do his best Luke 09 impression, who went from midfield to a winger to playing defense. And as a young, I was going to say lad, even though I'm not British, you do anything to be there. You will play any position. You'll do the Lyndon Gooch of being on the wing, be a right back, play defense if you need to. Just if it means that you get to play for your club and have your shirt on the highest stage of all of soccer outside of the World Cup.
No, I think it is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like awkward and uncomfortable for Dan Neil as a Sunderland fan through and through to be in this situation.
Well, to go back to what I was saying just earlier, I think that's a not quite subtle message to Neil. If they want him at all, you either sign a contract or you're out of here, Bonnie lad. It couldn't be clearer yesterday, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, Ian, I'll stay with you because Reynildo made his debut yesterday. But he played at centre back. He played at centre back and not left back.
You saw Ian.
You not seen the highlights, Ian? Bloody hell. But he's 30, 31, 32 years old. He's played at Atletico Madrid for the last few seasons. Atletico Madrid fans were pretty gutted to see him leave because they thought he was their best defender. I think it's very important to have that experience in the back line, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how we got out the Championship with an incredibly young team. It's the youngest team I think in the Football League in all three divisions of the EFL. But when you come into the Premier League, it's a different type of. Well, it's not a different type of football. Football is football. But there's an awful lot more savvy players in the Premier League than there are anywhere else. I have seen highlights of football. The Division 1 and Division 2, I've just watched them. And they are old players coming at the end of their time. You can see they still play football, but if worse comes to worse, they'll just kick some fucker over height. And in the Premier League, if they do kick somebody up a height, it's very subtle. You don't notice it until you can watch it on VAR. Now the VAR's there, they're going to get caught, so they don't do it so often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you've got some savvy heads in there, like Saka, like Reinildo hasn't played in the Premier League yet, but he played in La Liga, and he knows what's what. He knows how to play football. Whether it's going to be it might be an emergency centre back until we start getting some in, or the ones that we've got start to become fit again. Having said that, as much as I hate to say it, I can't honestly see Luke O'Nien getting a great lot of time in the Premier League. I would love for him to be successful. He's proved people so wrong so many times. But I think the Premier League is just going to be one step too much for him. But nevertheless, I would love him to stay, maybe move on to coaching, because he's not getting on. Is he even 30 now? I don't know.
Luke O'Nien is 30, yep.
Yeah. Well, start moving into the back room and stay with the club, because he's a once in a generation player. The bloke who's lifted the club, not alone, not like Saka winning the Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen, but he was always there as a constant. And every trainer that came to Sunderland picked him immediately. Unfortunately, I can't see LeBrie doing that once O'Nien's fit again, because LeBrie will realise that O'Nien, as good as he is, as funny as he is, he won't get away with the tricks that he's got away in Championship. With VAR looking at him, he's going to be red carded every other week. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately.
But he always finds a way.
Oh yeah, he does. I hope the hell he proves me wrong. I really do, because I love the bloke. He's Mr. Sunderland to me, the same as Charlie Hurley was when I was growing up. The same as Bally, Kevin Ball. Can you imagine Sunderland without Kevin Ball? Just doesn't happen. And the same's true of Luke O'Nien.
Right, well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hello, I'm Johnny. I've been living in Bilbao for 16 years now, but I'm originally from Durham City. I've been supporting Sunderland for over 40 years. I'm proud to be a member of the Bilbao Black Cats. Away, lads.
Welcome back to part two then. So, Andrew, we were talking about Reinildo there.
Yes.
32 years old, very well experienced defender. Played in the Champions League, he finished third in La Liga last season. He's played in the Club World Cup Championship this summer. I think he's going to be a very, very good signing, but I don't think he's going to be playing centre-back. I mean, ideally, you'd like him playing left-back, which is his natural position.
Yeah, no, it's a solid signing, a veteran right there. I think he's 31 and Zaha is 32, but need a difference. You're going to have them as your stalwarts for this coming season, and I don't see him as our left back for the rest of our time in the Premier League, but he's somebody that will be quality. And his whole career has shown that he's quality when the games matter. They know it's a known commodity, and in sports, having a player that can be that consistent is very important to any team because you know what to expect, and if they can give something more during a day, that's even better. Yeah, if he's playing center back for us, we're not having a great season, or we're really in trouble in injuries. We need some center backs very quickly. If it's ones we're buying, we've had some start and stops and rumors that all about, but after him would be Luke. So even then, what are we doing, and when is that happening? There's 2 weeks left, and will that be enough time for them to all get used to playing with each other? Because training camp has a sort of positive aspect of bringing people together and getting them on the same page a lot quicker than mid-season or
Yep.
even deadline.
Yep. I mean, I wouldn't have any problem with Luke O'Nien stepping in because no matter where he's been played and what level he's played at, he's always stepped up to the challenge because
Yeah.
he's a learner. He loves to learn. He loves to get better. And I think that those type of football players don't come along very often. And I think he'll relish the challenge of going to the Premier League facing the likes of Haaland. I mean, he's not as quick, he's not as high, but he always finds little ways. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I
no.
can't wait to see him pull Haaland's shorts down. You know what I mean?
Totally fair, but we do need some more depth and proven depth and power and strength. So we're not having games where everybody 9 points have been scored and hopefully winning 5-4 because we can't stop a shot, just like a tissue in a waterfall.
Yeah, yeah. But one interesting thing, Ian, about our signings is that if you look at where they've come from, the clubs, I mean, Reinildo, third from Atletico Madrid, Champions League experience. You've got Xhaka from Leverkusen, who finished runners-up in the Bundesliga. You've got Sadiki, who won the league, the Belgian league, with Union Saint-Gilloise last season. You've got Talbi, Shemsdean Talbi, who came from Club Brugge, who finished second. And you've got Diarra, who came from Strasbourg, who finished seventh in the Ligue 1. So we are buying like the cream of the crop of like the European leagues, aren't we? And it's positive, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm very impressed that you managed to, you've got those written down, haven't you? You could work on your pronunciation, but at least you got all the names there. Yeah, I mean, the winners, I mean, we haven't signed somebody from the Albanian third division in the hope that he's going to be the next Messi or something like that. So we've been sensible. We've gone for what hopefully are the right players. Whether they are, only time will tell. But as Andrea said, defence, we've got to sort out the defence. I would have nothing whatsoever against getting Chris Smithen back in. I read that he's available. They want 10 million. We've offered supposedly 5 million. At the end of last season, we didn't want him, which is why he didn't even get a start for the playoff, because we were looking to the future and thinking, okay, if we stay in the championship, he's going to be too expensive. If we go up, he's not even getting a game for Bournemouth. So what the hell are we going to do with him? But I will sign him, if only just for a year, to have him there, because we are so threadbare at the back, and we know he can do a job. You know, we know what he's capable of. He's not the fastest. What you mentioned earlier there, the O'Nien against Haaland. I've just got to. I'm not sure if I want to see that. I mean, we'll see it twice within 4 weeks.
In December,
in December and away in January. You know, I mean, Haaland might have the measuring by the second game. You know, you never know. But and something that Andrea said earlier as well, we haven't got any defenders in yet. They haven't had the chance to get used to who they're going to be playing with. There's a certain amount of uncertainty as to who they're going to be playing in front of. Mm-hmm. At the moment, it looks like Robin Ruffs. The question is, can Robin Ruffs needs to get used to the players as well, so he can start telling them what to do. I mean, it doesn't matter what Patterson could. Patterson never opened his cup. You know, I mean, we've had this discussion before. As far as I'm concerned, 40% of a goalkeeper's game is telling the people in front of him what to do, because he's the only bloke on the pitch who can see everything. Mm-hmm. He should be telling people what to do, and Patterson doesn't do that. That's the biggest problem I've got with him. Reaction keeper, great. I mean, you saw that in the first minute in the playoff with him saving the header from that
Keith
was
yeah.
Who we wanted.
Sorry, Andrea, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying Kiefer Moore, who we wanted, but I come from the Lev Yashins.
He's going to Wrexham. I read that Kiefer Moore is going to Wrexham.
Yeah, he's getting paid a good money, a good wage.
Wrexham are also after Broadhead.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
Are they reading our script?
Yeah,
Are they
they
reading-
probably are. They probably are. Yeah. So Andre, he made some good points there about the defense, and he'd have Chris Meppen back, even if it was just for a year, because the other alternatives is Jensen Seal, but he's just come back from a long-term knee injury. Would you be keen to get Meppen back? Do you think we should be looking for better, or do you think Jensen Seal's going to be a surprise this season, or he needs a loan, or what?
No, I don't know if he needs a loan. I feel like having enough people surrounded by to talk with Granite to see and learn from him. Like ideally, I'd want Trantis to be that player to step up, even though now he's more of a defensive midfielder and he's looked incredible doing that. But we need the depth. We need the strength and power. Having Mepham back is great. But let's see as somebody on Twitter once said, I want to see the picture with the scarf first before I start talking about what we're
definitely.
doing and how we're doing. But Ian's right. And as a goalie myself, it's just like being able to have that time with people to talk. Hey, like I said, I'm the Lev Yashin line, my country mates right there. That's my favorite. But we need defenders that we can trust upon, and Ballard being able to step up and be that player that, gosh, was he with Arsenal originally?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that player that they always dreamed of having, and we get to have that. And hopefully we have academy players now that can become that we don't lose because we got somebody in Sunderland Till I Die talking about the music we play in the stadium and selling off our best prospects. We need more Chris Riggs around the field. What will that be? We don't know. And time's running short. I really wish I could give a more in-depth answer, but it's just like we need power. He's too young, Sleet, to be our answer. And he's unproven.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have got our midfield sorted. Now we're looking for the forwards, and the defense looks like it's going to be last. Ian, I know that you might have to head off soon, but before you do, I wanted you to tell us about the German Black Cats plans for next weekend, because we have a pre-season friendly against Augsburg on Saturday. It's 4 p.m. local time, 3 p.m. UK time. I believe that your branch has organised like a meetup and there's some events going on. Do you want to tell us?
Yeah, well, sorry.
I said, do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would love to take the credit for everything, but we have liaised with the Augsburg fan club, and they've really pulled out the stops. They've obviously been in touch with the city of Augsburg as well, and they've come up with some brilliant stuff. I mean, I'm travelling down on the Saturday morning. There's a couple of our lads going down on the Friday night. The rest of them will be arriving on Saturday. First event is going to be a fan fest in the Stadtmarkt, which is right at City Market, right in the middle of Augsburg. The first 30 people who get there get a free beer.
Nice.
Now I was going to go down to my mate Alex, who lives down in Leverkusen, and pick him up and then continue on down at about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a 6-hour journey, so we will be getting there about lunchtime. But having seen that about the free beer, I said, I'll pick you up at 3 o'clock.
And you'll take 30 cardboard cutouts of yourself.
As well. No, and for people who make the weekend of it, the city have said that anybody who's wearing a football strip or a Sunderland scarf will get free admission to all of the museums in the town. The town is the third oldest town in Germany, so there's a lot of history there. We get. Sorry, mate. I'll come back to you.
Right, okay. No, but Andre, it's really refreshing to hear that, isn't it? For a pre-season friendly, that a city is being so welcome, and like organising meetups, and fair play to the fans of Augsburg as well for liaison work with the German Black Cats, because to give like 30 free beers to the first 30 fans and then free admission to the museums, that's
incredible.
That's a great weekend, isn't it? A great weekend plan.
I would love to be able to fly there. I still have 2 more weeks of 60-hour work weeks in a summer camp. I would love to be able to fly away from that, but for everybody that gets to go, I hope they have an amazing time.
Yeah, I'm sure they will because next weekend we play. Well, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it, Andrew? Because we play Augsburg on the Saturday at 4 p.m. local time in Germany, and then on the on the Sunday afternoon at about 5:30, I think it's UK time. We play Rayo Vallecano at the Stadium of Light. So it's like back-to-back friendlies in 24 hours. Uh, would you say that one of those games is going to be basically the probably the Saturday game against Augsburg is going to be the biggest test, and we'll go for the best team, and then the Sunday against Rayo Vallecano will play like a weaker team?
I would say it'd be our transfer showcase. Hey, let's see what prospects. Here's the bar. Are they reaching it? And anybody who would like these great players to join in. And that makes sense. We need to do that. We need to be able to also see if there's any quote unquote, you could say like the Americans have it, position battles that are going to be make or break by that weekend, which would be weird. But if there are, hopefully Reggie sees something for some of these guys out there. Maybe Zach Johnson now is somebody. But yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. We're gonna have our best in Germany while they get to wine and dine the whole city and get to enjoy the time with Ian. Ian, make sure you just have like some mustaches, different hats. You could be somebody with all your other IDs, but
I'll
I'm
move
not supposed to
quickly.
talk about that.
I'll move quickly. Sorry about that. That was my neighbour.
Yeah, go on,
Fine.
Ian. If you want to finish up with something else, but
Yeah, I was just going to say that the city aren't finished yet. Well, I'm not finished yet with what the city's offering. If they can get if 35 Sunderland players can get themselves together, they'll organise a free raft tour on the Lesh River. Now, I've seen these, and there's always tons of beer. You get wrecked, and you get very wet, inside and out. So it's worth having a go at. Unfortunately, I'll not be there long enough to take advantage of that because we are staying overnight, but we'll be getting away as soon as we've had breakfast on the Sunday morning. The city are also offering free city tours, which take about 2 hours, and they are in English.
yep.
We understand what they're talking about. Transport is included in the price of the ticket. Unfortunately, Sunderland aren't selling any tickets for the game. I don't know what the hell is going on there.
We're not selling any
Honestly,
tickets.
they're not selling any tickets. You go on the Sunderland site, you can't
Yeah.
buy a ticket. So we've taken on the responsibility of getting tickets for fans who are coming over. Martin's in PMB, and we'll organise the tickets for where we are sitting. We are sitting right next to where the away fan should be, but it looks as though the away fans block. It's just going to be completely empty. I don't know whether Sunderland, as a club, are expecting the fans just to turn up and buy a ticket on the day. I don't even know if that's possible. Certainly in the Bundesliga, you can't do that. Same as the Premier League, you've got to buy the tickets at least the day before. Yeah, so the price is included in the ticket, the price of the transport, and there's a tram run straight from the centre of town to the stadium. And when after the match, we're meeting up in a beer keller, a beer hall, right next to the main railway station, and first ones who are there will get a place. I mean, it's an enormous place, but who knows how many people are going to turn up? It could get very silly. We'll wait and see.
All right, but sounds like a cracking weekend, and fair play to you guys for doing that, and the Augsburg fans and the city of Augsburg for what is it? So a summary in is that a free beer for the first 30 fans, free museum entry for any fans wearing a Sunderland shirt or scarf, and free city museum, free city tour, and if they can get 35 fans, they'll do a boat tour, boat trip. That you can't say fairer than that.
And don't forget the beer keller after the match.
Yeah.
Just to make sure we'll get our voices back.
Yeah, and Ian welcomes
like we did at Wembley.
Aye, and Ian welcomes any free pints as well.
Exactly. Because I don't have to drive on that, too.
Thanks a lot. Right, Ian, so I don't know if you've got to head off, but like whenever you got to head off, just like head off,
I'm
mate.
okay at the moment.
Are you
Yeah,
okay at the moment? Right. We'll
yeah.
continue then. Andrea, so moving on
Yeah.
to the forward line, one of our biggest Achilles heel this pre-season has been the lack of goals. We haven't seen much of Isidore, who apparently he's got a bit of a knock. Mayenda's been playing most of the games. Abdullahi's had a couple of games. It's one area that I think we do need to strengthen a lot, don't it? And we need a strong centre forward, basically someone who
Steve
can hold
Moore.
the ball up. No, not that type. Someone who can hold the ball up, I think, because I think that's one of our weaknesses is that when we get the ball forward, it just comes straight back because Isidore and Mayenda, their game really isn't about holding the ball up. They're better facing the goal rather than with their backs to goal.
Yeah, no. Our goal is always to find the new Loch Ness Drogba. But what do you have? We have a Chelsea forward coming in, another 19-year-old. I'm feeling like that's the goal. Guys, tell me if you've heard this before. A Sunderland forward squad having trouble scoring goals. I know it's a new concept. You guys, we're used to scoring 20 goals a game, so we have to get used to this. But uh, am I worried about it? No, because this is something we're used to. It's terrible that we're used
No,
to
it's
it.
not you, is it? No.
But I feel like we'll see when Wilson is back and Mayenda and him are fighting. Abdullahi, I saw a rumor about him. There are a bunch of championship teams already interested. Which, if we're bringing another Chelsea forward, because the last loan went really well for us with Bustow. Um,
Burstow, yeah. But look
yeah,
where he is now.
Yeah.
He's got the League One, hasn't he? I think
yeah.
Bolton, I think he is now.
Hey, it just shows some of our management when it comes to forwards. I think it'll work out well. At the end of the day, we're itching to see what Mayenda and Wilson can do for like supposedly Wilson. People have said is made for the Premier League game, but if we're really looking for a target, a 6'4" target forward built like a tank, could have been a defender, but is gonna stop the ball and have great passes or hit every upper 90 whenever we need it. Um, Once we find that unicorn, maybe we can talk about him. But for now, we got to work with what we have. I think it's going to be a continuation of last season. Our wing play will decide how we can get stuff done, and it might be our midfield that's scoring a lot more goals than actually our forwards finishing because you're going to have a upper quality in goalkeeping. So we can't just slip one through somebody for an open tap in for Mayenda or Wilson.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Ian Mayenda scored 10 goals, I think, last season, and Wilson scored 12, I think it was. They both have different styles of play. They're both fast, but I feel that Mayenda is better when he's got the ball at his feet and he's facing their defenders and he's running at them, which he did quite well yesterday. He had the best players shitting themselves. And Wilson, I think he basically loves it when he plays on the defender's shoulder and he goes in around the back.
Yeah.
But neither are very good at holding the ball up. And I think that what I saw yesterday is that we were playing out from the back yesterday, and you had like Xhaka, Diarra, and Siddiqui playing balls to the forward, but we just couldn't. It wouldn't stick. And I think that quite a bit of our play when we're not playing on the counter attack, when we're playing out from the back, is going to depend on somebody to be able to hold the ball up, to be able to bring others into play. But yesterday, that was one of our struggles, I think.
Well, okay, it remains to be seen how we're going to play it in future. But certainly in the past, we didn't need anybody up front to hold on to the ball. And if we do, who's he going to give it to? Because we've got two lads on there in Mayenda and Isidore who go like shit off a stick. Now, if they're hanging about on the halfway line and the opponents are playing a high press, all you do is knock a ball over the top, and they've destroyed any defender, well, the majority of them anyway, who was going to try and catch up with them. It's then down to them as to whether they can put the ball away or not. What I've read so far is that Mayenda's not been getting the greatest of service. There's a couple of balls into him yesterday. One was behind him from Trey Young, and the other one from Jones was just too far in front of him. He didn't have a Inspector Gadget leg to get on the end of it. Isidore thrives on crosses. Mayenda thrives on running.
Mm-hmm.
But they both run. I mean, Isidore can really go at it as well. What this new guy is going to bring, I don't know. Apparently, he had a hamstring in January, February, and didn't play a game for the rest of the season. But Chelsea, apart from getting on as a substitute in the European Conference final, but it remains to be seen. As Andrea says, he could turn out to be the next Mason Burstow. He could turn out to be the next Drogba. I mean, Chelsea won't let him go on a loan to buy. They just let them go on a loan and
On a
they want
straight
them
loan.
back,
Yeah.
which is the good sign as far as I'm concerned. If they want them back, they obviously rate them.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I know too much about him, but like some of the Athletic Club Bilbao fans in our branch, they've reminded me several times that he made his debut against Athletic and he scored in his debut after 30 seconds.
Well, it's not bad.
So they know him quite well. But yeah, Mark Gue is his name. He's 19-year-old. Again, he looks like very
He's
fast.
Spanish, isn't he?
Yeah, Catalan Spanish. Yeah, he looks very fast and yeah, he seemed like a good finisher. Yesterday, Andre, a name that got linked was Lois or Louis. I don't know how you pronounce it. Openda.
Luis, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So it's written Lois, but I mean I don't know if it's Lois or Louis. Openda. I think he's a Belgian forward who plays for RB Leipzig. He actually scored yesterday in a pre-season friendly. At the same time, a German journalist actually leaked a rumor that he was going to be subject to a interest or a bid from Sunderland. So apparently this guy is the real deal.
Well, don't forget, he's also has citizenship with Morocco, and with our domination of AFCON, I feel like that's the other. It's a joke at this point, but it's just hilarious how many great African players we've signed. That this December we're going to be facing some teams with our with Luco 9 or Luis Semeda, no, as our forward, no, but that's. Um, I do, like I said, if this is our unicorn, this is going to be a great signing for us. Somebody, we need a target forward or a center forward type player that is able to either take it on his own, but reality is looking for that pass to be able to have the wings use him in a way for a give and go. And we'll see what we got. Ooh, what is
I mean,
what,
I'm looking at his stats
yeah.
now, and
All right, okay.
so he got 33 goals in 67 so far for Leipzig,
Yeah.
and he's got 21 in 38 for Lens in one season. Then the Dutch league, he scored 28 and 66 for Vitesse. So he does seem to be prolific wherever he goes, doesn't he?
Yeah. No, as well as the Chelsea forward as well. So it'd be very interesting to see because this automatically means Abdullahi is going to get a championship loan. And I wonder if this also means somebody like a Mayenda or Wilson is seen as a possible backup wing for us. If we're bringing all these forwards in and these strikers in, you don't need four strikers where two are going to sit on the bench for most of the game. So maybe that's the case. That's why we haven't gone for another wing after our failed attempt or failed medical that nobody wants to mention.
Yeah.
That seems like a logical thing because that they were substitutes like that for us, and having Mayenda coming down a wing or a Wilson coming down a wing with another big body right in the middle to support us, I think it will be amazing for us. And just like you and Ian were talking about, you had a forward in Mark that has been at least prolific with the time that he's out there, and it's not a loan to buy. So Chelsea, with the 40, 50 players that they've signed, still have hope in him that either he can get more money or become a regular for them.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But Ian, in terms of the remainder of the pre-season, we've got two friendlies left. Some fans are bedwetting because they're a bit nervous that we haven't scored any goals, that we've lost some matches. I mean, if you look at it though, we haven't seen Serkin or Nine, Elise, Rig. Isidore hasn't played much. I think once they all get back, we'll have like a bit more depth, won't they? Because I think, okay, they might not be Premier League ready, but I think they're able to adapt to be able to offer something as squad players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to go back to what you were talking about with Openda, I was surprised that he managed to get so many goals for Leipzig. I didn't think he was that prolific a goal scorer. Their best player, their best striker is Chesko, but Man United's after him. Okay, if we can get a Pender, yeah, bring him in. I'll have him. You know, if he can score 50 sort of goal every other game, yeah, let's do it. Although it's a lot easier to score a goal in the Bundesliga than it is in the Premier League. But going back to your question, which was
the strength in depth, the injured players that aren't there, Serkin, O'Nien, Elisa, Isidore, and Rig, that haven't played at all. Or
we are going to be very, very fortunate to get everybody fit at the same time. We're always going to be firefighting. I can't see it ever happening that Labrie has got a full squad to choose from. We are aiming at having 2 people for each position. We've obviously managed that in midfield. Once the defence is fit, we're not going to be too far off that. Up front, we'll probably need another 2 strikers in. But hell, let's see what happens. Back in May, I thought, it's great that the lads have got there, but with this team, I honestly can't see it surviving in the Premier League. But there's an awful lot of good things, as far as I can tell. Proof is in the pudding, of course, that have happened since then. And I have quietly become quite optimistic during the summer that we will survive at least our first season in the excuse me, in the Premier League. And since we got Saka, I've just been walking around with a smug smile on my face all the time.
Yeah, I bet you have, Andrea, one of the problems we had last year in the Championship was we had 46 league games, and then we had 2 playoff semis, and then the final 49. One of our problems was possibly the lack of depth in the squad, because we did seem to play the same core of 14, 13 players all the time. This year in the Premier League, this season in the Premier League, it's going to be 38 games. So that does give us 8 games less. So obviously there's less demand on the squad to be so deep in terms of numbers. I think that the one of the main issues at the moment is the AFCON, no, in January. But I think the way the league is structured and the fixtures are structured, it wouldn't be too bad. You'd possibly have 2 or 3 games where you'd lose out on them, I think.
You know, my gosh. I think even those it was showing about, I think, 6 games with a couple, I think, are Manchester City. They're supposedly gonna miss out the Newcastle game and everything. My favorite joke I saw is that, well, there goes our perfect season. Outside of AFCON, we're going to be the best team that doesn't lose any points. We got to keep ourselves humble. I would say, can you repeat the question, Lee? I'm so sorry.
I was just saying, for example, in terms of last season compared to it's
the
46 game. This year there's 38 games. So I think in terms of depth, we're going to be okay, I think.
I think yes, but remember, I don't know if it was with Grenade or right before, Keith Downing was talking about how we're still 8, 9 signings away. Who that is between now and the deadline, it's wild to think, especially as Ian brought up. Sunderland was never a team that was spending so much money, but I also think in this FFP reality that we're in, that's the other reason why we're spending 100 million. These last few seasons where we've basically spent pennies on the dollar or pounds on the that's
pennies
why
on
we're fair. No, I was about to say shekels on the pound. But
right, yeah. That works.
Well, I'm Russian, so should I say rubles on the kopecks on the ruble?
Kopecks on the ruble.
Ruble kopecks on the ruble. No, I can go into so many stories there, but not even going to try. I think we've allowed ourselves to be in a great situation too, where we're not going to spend more than we've reality have put in, and we're going to get back a lot more, especially being in the Premier, getting the TV money. We are going to be a vastly different team come late September, let alone where we're at come the January deadline too. So we're going to be bringing a lot new faces, and that's something for us to get used to. Of the very few academy or people that are here in the playoffs, and we're going to have a lot of moving parts, for better or worse. And that's going to define our season, is how those new parts have come in, wedged themselves in, and if it keeps us up, or you're going to have a lot of great players in the championship. But that's not a reality I want to even care about or acknowledge.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Right, lads, we're going to wrap it up there. But Ian, before we go, I'll give you last word. Where can people who are going to Germany contact and find the German Black Cats on social media or email?
Yeah, well, I only know Facebook because I'm not exactly internet savvy or anything like that. But if you just look for German Black Cats on Facebook, you'll find us. Martin is the main man, Martin Steffner. He speaks English and German, as do I. His English isn't as good as mine, and my German isn't as good as his. So take your pick. But we've got all the information. We've got all the links to where you need to be on the day, and we'll get everything sorted out for you. It's absolutely no problem whatsoever. And at the moment, the last time I spoke to Martin, we've got a spare ticket. So if anybody's thinking of going at the last minute,
it's been sold. I've just looked, Ian. It's been sold.
It's been sold. Okay, great stuff. And Martin's got his money back anyway.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to take the plans to the match with them as well.
Right. Well, and you're also on Instagram as well. So anyone who's got Instagram or Facebook, German Black Cats, or on Facebook, Martin Steffner and Ian McNee are the names if you want to contact them. If you go into Augsburg, they will help you get around and give you a good time in all sorts of ways, eh?
But yeah, looking forward to seeing you before I can't see you anymore. I'll find out where all the brothels are so I can point you in the right direction. That's just for the lads. Although the women get sorted out as well over here, you know, male brothels exist as well. But you'll not be stuck for somewhere to have a pint in Augsburg, believe me. It's right in the middle of Bavaria. Bavaria is known for its brewery culture. It's known for its food. You know, you get pig knuckles about the size of half a pig. You know, it's unbelievable. You will not die of hunger. You will not die of thirst. I promise you that.
Good
you'll
stuff,
have a good time, regardless of what team turns up.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, Ian. And I'll be at the Stadium of Light against West Ham on the 16th. I think Martin has got a ticket, and
Martin's going to be there.
He sat next to us. We got tickets. We're basically bringing the Wembley crew back together. There's going to be me, Martin, and Paul sitting together now, and our kids as well. So that's good. Right, gents. Thanks a lot for coming on today, and I'll speak again soon. How are the lads?
How are the lads?
Hello there, my name is Anthony Stevenson. I'm originally from Town and Farm in Sunderland. I now live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. I've been supporting the lads for almost 40 years. How are the lads?